Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So y'all, we're on the honeymoon and we're in Mexico. I feel like they got pretty nice accommodations this time around. How I'm feeling about these couples though, y'all, I don't know. Some of them are feeling forced. Some of them are feeling a little delusional. Okay. Some of them, well, which I understand. You're just meeting somebody and you want it to work. I understand it's going to be a little bit of that in there. Some people don't have any chemistry at all. Okay. We even have almost a Chris and Paige situation. Okay. We're going to get to that. I feel like there maybe are a couple of genuine people in here, and it's funny because I feel like the genuine people always get the short end of the stick on this show, but then you have people on here that I feel like want to be on TV or just were not ready to be married and just not taking this as serious as I need them to. But with all that being said, let's just hop straight into it. I'm gonna start with Ben and Morgan. Once again, I'm sorry, this late wedding is a drag. This episode, like, and it's going to feel disjointed because you're doing a wedding on the same episode as the honeymoon. So I don't know, every time they would switch back and forth, it just took me out of it. Like, I hated going back to that wedding. I wish they would have just did their wedding in the beginning and like showed us the honeymoons. We just see a lot of like nervous, awkward laughing between these two. I don't know, I don't actually see a connection like in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they're just trying to get through the day at this point. If maybe I could be wrong, but that's the way it was coming off. They got some really cute pictures though. She keeps telling him that she does kickboxing and she broke her friend's tooth. Like, are you trying to scare this man? Like, why do you keep telling him? She wants to be so rough and tough and hard. Like, I don't know why, girl. Who are you trying to prove? Like, what do you don't have to prove this to anybody. Like, I don't know. It just feels like she just is advertising herself as this, like, I'm so independent. I'm so, well, girl, be that. We'll be able to feel it. Like, Sasha, you could tell she's a very independent woman, but she don't have to say it every 2 seconds. One thing I did notice is that anytime children was brought up to Morgan, she definitely deflected. And so I feel like that's a bad sign. Even the sister confirmed that she doesn't necessarily want children, and he definitely does want children, and his mama wants children. Was talking about how he's the oldest and he needs to have kids, and you know he's gonna do whatever his mama wants. So I feel like that's gonna be a huge deal breaker. Like, why would y'all match two people that don't want the same thing when it comes to children? I hate when y'all do that because it's never gonna work out. Those couples never work out. Now the sister did say that if she met someone, you know, that she loved, and maybe she would want to compromise, but I would never want someone to compromise on having children because that just seems like a recipe for resentment in the long run. So then when they get to the bedroom, they start to have a little bit more chemistry by this point. She kept bringing up that bowl of contraceptives. I'm just like, girl, if you don't want nothing to go down, why you keep bringing it up? Like, you the one who keep bringing it up. Like, but she kept trying to act like, oh no, but then like in her confessionals, like, oh, he is so hot, he's so fine, oh my god, is he listening? Oh. But then when they asked him, like, well, did y'all consummate your marriage last night? She was like in the background, like trying to, like, you know, strong arm him into not saying anything. And that was kind of weird in itself, girl. Why are you trying to intimidate this man while he's doing his own confessional? You didn't want him to hear you, but you're all listening to him give his confessional. I thought that was supposed to be like a private thing. And I ain't gonna lie, he got a nice body and he's very attractive. So I understand why you would be attracted to your husband, but why are you trying to put on this front like you're not, or you don't want to do anything? Like, it's fine, girl. It's 1,000% okay. You're married to him. And that was all between them. Like, they have a lot of catching up to do with the other couples because, you know, they had a late start. But, you know, the more and more I saw them on screen, the more I'm like, well, maybe they could work out, you know? Not with those kids, never mind. So let's move on to Lindy and Miguel. Lindy once again talks about her childhood growing up as a Seventh-day Adventist and only attending those schools growing up. So that shaped who she was growing up. She was very much involved in the church. And she was engaged once before, and then they realized that they wanted different things and they broke up. When he starts talking about, you know, his relationships, he said he always finds something missing in his relationships, and he's always the one to break up. And, you know, Lindy believes that love is a choice and he feels like love is a feeling. It seems like he's not as emotionally intelligent as he thinks he may be. And she's a little bit nervous based off what she's hearing, because it sounds like when he sees one thing that he doesn't like, he's ready to leave. And I don't blame her for being nervous on that. She's already a nervous wreck child. But I don't blame her for being a little concerned about that, because that threw me off as well. And on top of that, he's also a little dry, monotone. And so he seems like he would be a hard person to read. Like, you can't even tell where he is emotionally half the time, because he's just so stone-faced. Later on, he opens up about how his parents divorced when he was 10 years old, and his dad moved him and his sister to Puerto Rico, and they couldn't speak Spanish, and he suffered with identity issues because of that. And I can imagine, like, you know, you see all these people that look like you and you can't even communicate with them, and I would see how that could be isolating. Also, I wonder where his father is today, because I thought his sister mentioned that they didn't have their parents in their life growing up. So I don't know. I'm a little confused on that now. But he said when he was having those identity issues, that's when he got into comics, all the Dungeons and Dragons of it all. Like, that's when, and that makes sense, because you can immerse yourself in a different world. That makes sense. Then he said that his mother had schizophrenia and left them. And he didn't realize until he got older, because he didn't understand. He just thought she had abandoned him. You know, now that he has a better understanding of it, he regrets ignoring her when she's reached out to him. And now he's more compassionate to her, because he's learned not to take her mental health issues personally. You know, and don't beat yourself up for that, because you were a kid, and, you know, I'm sure it wasn't properly explained to you, and maybe the people that around you didn't even know how to explain it to you. Lindy said that her dad served her mom divorce papers when she was in the 8th grade, and she stayed with her boyfriend's family for a summer. And I'm just like, you act like your family was so strict, but you were able to go stay with your boyfriend's family for an entire summer? Ain't no way. Now, I grew up in a strict household, and I wasn't even allowed to really have a boyfriend, let alone go stay with him just by myself with him over. Your house wasn't that strict, Lindy. Like, you weren't allowed to dance, but you were allowed to go stay with your boyfriend. Anyway, I felt like that was a great conversation overall, though. They both opened up. But then later on, like, he keeps pressing the issue that he wants to consummate the marriage, and that being intimate means a lot to him. And, you know, she's politely setting her boundaries, and, like, she's, you know, I feel like Lindy wants to get to know him on a more personal level before she goes there. And she also said she's experienced religious guilt over being, you know, intimate before marriage, and it's a huge deal to her. And he feels like it's just an expression of affection, and he needs chemistry in that area before he can, you know, develop I guess love for her. But I don't know, he's getting really pushy about it, and like, he was trying to give her a massage. You could tell, like, you ain't being slick. I could tell what you're trying to do. And I'm just like, that's kind of creepy. Like, let her go at her own pace. Like, if she wants to wait, y'all just met each other 2 days ago. Chill. Like, I know it's coming because she's attracted to him. So I don't feel like you even gonna have to wait much longer. Just chill. Like, I didn't like how pushy he was being about it. Let's move on to Alexis and Justin. Y'all, I'm sorry. I just feel like Alexis is putting on. I'm sorry. I don't feel like it's real on her end. I don't. And I feel bad, because I feel like he is all in. I feel like we know it by the end of this episode, but his emotions are all in. And you know what her behavior reminds me of? You know those relationships where there's like a sugar daddy with a bunch of money, like an older man with a bunch of money, and there's a younger girl who wouldn't possibly be attracted to this man unless he had money, but she like plays into him and, you know, butters him up and pretends very well that she likes him just to get that check. That's what I'm getting from Alexis, except she's doing it maybe for the show, because I don't think he got money like that. I don't get genuine from it. She very well could be, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologize and take it back, but that's just what I'm getting. Meanwhile, he is walking on sunshine, baby. Like, he said he never imagined he would get to do these things. like period. But especially with a wife, they go horseback riding on the beach, and it's like, you know, it looks really beautiful out there. Every time that he says something sentimental or she says something back, she's like, she could just be playing. She could just be like that because she never truly expresses her feelings. Or maybe those are her true feelings about the situation that she's just letting out in a playful way. He gushes about wanting to spend the rest of his life with her. And she was like, how do you know? And he immediately was like, I love you. I'm in love with you. And she literally screams in laughter. The entire interaction between them was so cringy because she literally laughed in his face. Like I said before in my past video, I believe he's very inexperienced and he has the emotional intelligence of like a prepubescent teen, because I really feel like he meant that, or he thinks he feels that. He's never had anybody seemingly care about him the way Alexis does or cater to him in that way. But that was way too much too soon. Way too much too soon. And look, I could see her being thrown off by it too. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Because I would be thrown off. It's the second day and you're in love. No. I would have been thrown off. I probably would have wanted to run too. She said she wanted to run. But I don't know. It was just the over the top scream and laugh that was just like, I don't know. That was a little rude. This man just professed his love for you. And she's been acting like she's like a safe space for him to be himself. And so for her to do, and I don't know why he feels that way. She tell your business every time she gets the chance. She straight up tells him that I'm not going to tell you I love you because, you know, that's just, I'm not there yet. And that's understandable. And he just begins to cry. And this is where I feel like he's completely immature. Like I get you, it's too, like, why are you crying about that? He cried too much. And I'm not saying that men can't cry, but he cried too much. It just feels like he has a very immature relationship with his feelings. Alexis, you in too deep, because if he said he in love, he a stage 5 clinger at this point. He ain't letting you go. So let's move on to Sasha and Nate. I keep wanting to say Stasia because of how her name is spelled. But yeah, he's coming off as a creep, okay? The very first clip we see from them is him holding the camera, panning down to her body, licking his tongue out, biting his lip. And there's nothing wrong with finding your wife attractive and, you know, finding her body attractive. That's your wife and y'all just got together, whatever. Y'all had this hot shower last night. I get it, but it's that behavior coupled with all of the rest of his behavior beforehand that I was just like really skeeved out by how he was treating her. It's like he was objectifying her. They claim that they have not consummated their marriage yet, and Sasha, that's probably for the best. Keep your head clear so you can see this man for who he is. Keep your eyes open because he cannot help but reveal himself. He's one of those people that talk too much that he tell on himself. So then they go for a 4-wheeler ride. It's like off-road or whatever. And like, y'all, the entire time he's like taking selfies, taking videos. And I said the last video that it looked like he ain't never been nowhere, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never been to Mexico, but like, let's enjoy the experience for what it is. Like, he's more so trying to stunt for the gram, if you ask me. And that also gives scammer vibes. Like, he wasn't even paying attention to her. Like, this was a couple's activity and you were more so focused on getting your pictures and videos. I don't know, that would really bother me because it would feel like I couldn't take you nowhere because you don't know how to act. You could tell that she was really annoyed by that too, because she kept saying my IG husband. That was shade. And later on they go to dinner. He complains about how long it took her to get ready and asked her how long she normally takes, and she said 1 to 2 hours. And it's like, but she said that she's always punctual. I can relate. I'm always punctual, but I take, when I'm, you know, putting on a full face and I'm getting ready, it's probably gonna take me 1 to 2 hours. But I always plan accordingly. Let me know what time I need to be there and I will start getting ready 1 to 2 hours before that. Like, does it matter how long I get ready as long as I'm there on time? Anyway, I did not like the way he was trying to clown her for that. And then at the dinner, she brought up his bankruptcy. He started a business with his friend and then it went bankrupt, and you know, he had a lot of issues with his credit because of that. He told that to her family, so she brought that up to him at the honeymoon dinner, and he claims that it got settled in 6 months and it won't hinder them moving forward. And I'm just like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not no expert on credit and bankruptcy and things like that, but do things get cleared up in 6 months time? I don't know. I wasn't buying it. I don't think Sasha was buying it because she's an expert in finances. So what? He should have had a better story planned out than that. So clearly she was rightfully concerned about protecting herself, and she brought up the post-nup to protect her assets, and she made it very clear, this is to protect me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't say it like harsh or whatever, but she made it clear that she wants to protect herself. She wants him to sign a post-nup. He didn't put up too much of a fight because he know he would look very broke if he did that. I feel like to save face, he just agreed to it immediately, which you better, like, you ain't got no. I feel like all of them should have to sign one. So then she brings up children, and she asked him, like, you know, when do you want to have kids? And he was like, well, when do you want to have them? You're 37 basically. It's like, dang, like, it's almost like he was trying to like throw another jab at her because of, you know, him being embarrassed about them finances. He claimed he wants to wait 1 to 2 years, and she said she wants one in a year. And it's like, girl, y'all just got married. But I also get it, you're 37, and if you want to have a child naturally, the sooner the better. By the time you get to your late 30s, you know what I'm saying? You just need to make sure he's the right one. Like, you don't just, I don't think you should just rush and have children with someone you don't know. He gives me nightmare baby daddy. So I don't know. I hope she doesn't rush to having a baby with this man. And then later on, when all the couples are together and they discuss changing their last name, she's asked why she's so quick and easy to change her last name, and she has, you know, daddy issues when it comes to not even knowing who her father is whatsoever. So she says she has no connection to her last name, and she doesn't know who her father is. And even though I know who my father is, I can relate to that because, you know, I didn't grow up with my father. I was able to develop somewhat of a relationship with him before he passed away. So I'm not really connected to my last name. So I wouldn't mind changing my last name either when I get married because, like she said, I just don't have much of a connection to it. But girl, you just met him. And she was just like, even if their marriage doesn't work out, she's still going to keep his last name. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. Now that part doesn't make sense at all. I don't get that. And but I do understand now why she wants to have children so bad, because she did say that she, you know, she didn't know her father, and also, you know, she had a stepfather, but she never really felt included. So that gave us a little bit more insight of why she emancipated herself as a teenager. I still want to know more about that, y'all. But she became very, very, very emotional about it. Clearly, this is still like some trauma she needs to deal with, because she broke down. Alexis was talking about her relationship with her father, how she had a strained one. And it was funny because Alexis like didn't know how to console her whatsoever. She thought she was being harsh with what she was saying, but really it was just Sasha crying over the fact that, you know, she never had a family. I feel like she should deal with that before she has her own children. But, you know, she seems like she on a mission, child. So finally, Mitch and Kristen. And poor Kristen, I feel so bad for her, okay? Because I did tell y'all that I feel like she is desperate for this and she really wants to get married, and I feel like that's something that she should address within herself. But she doesn't deserve Mitch. And it's giving Chris and Paige. Like, I don't know. There's so many, like, they really do align in so many ways. Like, he's not as explosive as Chris, but just the whole situation is like, I don't know, it mimics each other in my opinion, because they have no chemistry at all. But she is desperate for this to work. What I'm noticing throughout this honeymoon is that she's always initiating compliments to him and, you know, stating her attraction to him and, you know, overall just looking for common ground, looking for what they have in common. And he's not putting in any sort of effort like that at all. He's never returning the compliments. He never really returns the favor in any way. And I don't like that. Meanwhile, she's happy with a hand graze. So at one point, she told him that she would love to advance in the physical department because she's getting a little frustrated or whatever. And he was like, well, I just wish I had some of that, because basically he's not attracted to her. And right before this conversation, he was on the phone with his brother telling him how he wasn't attracted to her, and his brother was like, it's day 2, give it a chance, like she's a cute girl, the attraction can grow. And I don't know, like he was just so like, because he's not attracted to her, and it just feels like because he's not as attracted to her as he is to her mom, that he just has to let her know that he's not attracted to her. Like somebody is really pressuring him to do this. And he was crying and everything before this dinner, and I'm like, what? You did not have to tell her this yet. You know what I'm saying? To me, it just feels so unnecessary on day 2 to have to tell someone you're not attracted to them, because you haven't even really given it a chance, really. And no, y'all don't have initial attraction, but y'all could, it could grow over this honeymoon. At least give it the whole honeymoon. It's giving Alyssa. He basically told her that he wasn't attracted to her, and I would have to have a different room. Like, she a better woman than me. Like, I'm not staying in the same room with him after that. After he tells me that, why would I want to be around him again? I know that was a devastating blow to her, you know what I'm saying? Because she feels like she's been getting mixed signals from him, because she felt like their personalities click. I don't know if this is her just trying to force a relationship or whether that was actually happening. I don't know. Clearly it wasn't happening on his end. I am glad that she said that she was not going to try to prove her attractiveness to him, because she took this entire conversation well. He was impressed by that. And so later on that night they got drunk, and that night it turns out that he cuddled and kissed her to try to humor her, like, oh, this is my wife and I was excited that night, and you know, fires can be stoked. And it's like, so basically you're using her for sex, basically, is what you tried to do. But thank God she didn't give in, you know what I'm saying? But that's what it's giving. That's why I said it was Chris vibes, because don't yo-yo her feelings because you want some. So she shut it down from going further, because you know, she would have went along with it had they not had that conversation the day before. But because you said that you not attracted to me, and then this same night you gonna try to get some from me, that's not right. That wasn't right. And I'm so glad she stood her ground on that. And later on they had a conversation about it, and she basically gives him an ultimatum and says that, you know, I don't mind, you know, slowly growing to be attracted to each other little by little and growing in love and things like that. But her ultimatum is, you know, if you don't say I love you, or if we haven't been intimate by decision day, then she's gonna say no. So I think that's fair. Honestly, I would have left. I wouldn't even give Mitch too much more of a chance, to be honest. I guess you would want to know up front that someone isn't like necessarily attracted to you, but I just think it was unnecessary. Like, it's day 2. Like, it's day 2. You did not have to do this early. I feel like it was too early to do that. But oh, also I want to mention, like, girl, on after party, Mitch, what are these sandals? They're giving beauty supply in the first place, not your regular flip-flops. He had them on with a suit too. It was just weird. But anyway, y'all let me know if y'all saw that on after party. I would also love to hear your opinion on these couples. Who do you think is gonna make it? What do you think about the chemistry that's going on with these different couples? I would love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.